From east to west, he's got the smarts. When digs are jokes and lots of farts. He's got no talent and his heart is lame. Everybody knows it's Hanksy.
That's me! Presented by Squarespace. Dun 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 dun. But no jokey joke, kids. A good chunk of larger cities have a deep history of graffiti. I mean, taggers be tagging walls for decades now. But as we all know, street art and murals and the like are so effing hot right now, OMG. So what we've seen in the last 10 years or so is a rise in popularity and a growth of the genre as a whole. Artists aren't sticking strictly to aerosol anymore. They're dabbling in various mediums and unique techniques. So, known as the birthplace of liberty, Philadelphia is a perfect example of a big city that is embracing this new breed of street art. Yes, it's got a storied history of graffiti and hand-drawn stickers, but it's also a massive incubator, one that offers big city convenience, all the while being super appreciative of the arts and making it completely livable for those looking to spread their art wings and become so fly. So yo, to all my Adrians and fresh big willies out there, we in Philly and I got a huge Rocky Balboner for the city of brotherly love.
I've been doing the paper cutouts since like 2003, I think. The black and white ones. I think I had my first one.
Meet Joe Bourja. I guess he could be considered a stencil artist, sort of at least. Although instead of cutting stencils and applying paint directly to the street, he's slicing and dicing and cutting super intricate paper cutouts. They are hella detailed.
Seeing how far I could push it just with the art by itself. I started doing like these political posters during like the Bush years, you know, and they all had some kind of text in them, and then slowly less and less text in them, and it just became images.
He'll then take these cutouts and Xerox them, enlarge them, print them out, etc. Joe then goes and we paste them on the street. My faves come about when he interacts with site-specific installs.
Well, I was walking around one day and saw all the green relay boxes and just had a vision of a bird cage in it. So I did my first mailbox piece was a bird cage. It was like a bird pulling out its feathers inside of a cage. And I made that one site-specific piece and just got a great reaction out of it, so I just kept doing them.
Another Philly-based artist who regularly interacts with both permanent and non-permanent city surroundings is fiber artist Ishnitz.
I started by hand and now I work by machine, and I've even started weaving and just trying to do like different things with it so that it doesn't become stale.
She's part of a small but growing number of kids across the nation using the fiber arts to make their city more colorful. For better or for worse, they're known as yarn bombers.
I definitely feel like a new breed of street art that is interesting but not as risky or dangerous as traditional street art. I don't even really consider myself on the same echelon of like those that came before me. Like I have a lot of respect and a lot of admiration for that, and I know that I'm not climbing roofs, like I'm not climbing bridges and like getting and painting down there. Like I'm not doing that. And I have so much respect for those that do that, and I consider myself definitely a new breed that I feel like has broken with that tradition, which I feel like that tradition really has. Like I just have so much respect for the balls it takes to do like a lot of that work.
Me too, girl. And like Ishnitz, I'm not fucking scaling no crazy ass walls or climbing billboards on the reg either. Partly because I don't have health insurance, but mostly because I'm scared of heights. Also working near the ground at eye level is our last Philly artist. He goes by Kid Hazo. And like yours truly, he's also a super cool, secret, anonymous trickster.
I've overall been a fan of street art, and I couldn't really sit still too long, so I decided to kind of create something that I thought would be fun and grab a lot of people's attention that's different than the normal street art that's usually done in Philly.
So similar to other active artists, Kid Hazo creates realistic street signs and installations that play on playful pop culture and mundane city rules. They're semi-permanent installations that seemingly blend in with the surroundings. Some have lasted days, while other signs have been riding for years.
Anything that you do in Philly is going to get a lot of recognition and a lot of attention because as far as street artists goes, there aren't too many of us, and it's such a tight-knit community that if you do something, a lot of people are going to follow you and figure out what's happening over here in the scene and kind of stir up the amount of artists that are here.
What's great about Philadelphia is the overall feeling of being embraced. It's got a bunch of art schools and pro art programs. For God's sakes, it has more public art than any other American city. It's like the city is wrapping its big, warm, brotherly love arms around the creative community and just squeezing. A big part of that is thanks to Philadelphia's Mural Arts program. A city-funded program, Mural Arts, in one form or another, is celebrating 30 years of existence. In that time, they're responsible for over 4,000 works of art within the city. That's crazy, right? Here's Executive Director Jane Goldman.
Because I think, hey, it's great to give artists a place to show their work. It's better to pay them and let them know that you have real value in our society.
Jane has been working with Mural Arts since its inception back in 1984. Back then, it was a component of the city's anti-graffiti network. They have recently started inviting street and graffiti artists, both local and international, to come paint their sanctioned walls.
Like now, we work with street artists, we work with public artists, muralists. So I think like this whole conversation between graffiti, street art, muralism, public art, it sort of is shifting, right? Instead of being so totally siloed, we're all like sort of influencing each other in how we work. And I want Mural Arts to be a center for innovation and creativity. So we're not going to take anything off the table like we don't use spray or we don't use this or we don't do that. No. But if you have permission, spray is an art form. It's an artistic way of working.
For example, take the Love Letter project. Painted by Espo, also known as Steve Powers, in 2009, this expansive series tackled 50 rooftop murals along an elevated train in West Philadelphia. It's a great experience to just hop on the train, alone or with your main side piece, and go for a ride. But it's not all structured and bureaucratic art love for Philly. Another institution that exists within the city, one that arguably reigns just as high atop the minds of street art and graffiti fans as Jane and crew, is a metaphorical South Street cathedral of tags and stickers and spray paint and posters and all that good vandal crap. Unfortunately for the young ones though, entrance is limited to those 21 and over. It's a bar and restaurant called Tattooed Mom, and its second story is covered floor to ceiling in 15 plus years of graffiti. It's pretty much free range for those who enter through the door. Running it all is owner Robert, a huge supporter of the Philadelphia street art and graffiti scene. He explains why his city is prime pickings for anyone trying to survive as an artist.
I think there's not a lot of pressure on the artist to whatever, quote unquote, be successful or to be, it's a nice environment to create, and people are collaborative, they're cooperative, they're actually genuinely interested in each other's work, and I think it's an awesome city to do that in because it's still a very affordable city for people to live in.
From decade-old Shepherd Ferry stickers and posters to any number of hand-drawn Philly-based locals, one can spend hours looking at the layered and inked-up walls.
If someone has a problem with you, they are in your face and they will tell you about it, and you will know about it in 5 minutes. You're not having to constantly be on the hustle in the way that you would in New York City.
And everybody else I talked to seemed to be on that same tip.
Someone said this recently, and I really agree that there's a lot of opportunity here because it's not like set like New York is, so you can make your own way. There's really, I think, a place for sort of new ideas and innovation.
And I really feel like there's an allowance for artists to really explore and try things where I don't know, I can't really say what other cities are like, only the ones that I've been in. And I feel like this Philadelphia is really friendly to artists, definitely.
An hour and a half from New York, 3 hours from DC, 2 hours from Baltimore. It's all really close, accessible by megabus.
So that's that. It's only an hour and a half from NYC. Philly's a big city, one that seems to fully support the arts. People can afford to get creative with their work and try new avenues. Rent is cheap, and the cost of liberty seems to be only a 2-hour wait in line. I got to play some b-ball outside of the school, and luckily enough, I didn't even get stabbed by those tattooed, shirtless 12-year-olds we saw carrying the keg on Graffiti Pier. But all in all, win-win. I got no knife holes in my body, and I didn't even make any Boy Meets World references for that matter. Philly, you be great. Be good, be gone, I don't care. P.S. I got some gnarly ass cheesesteak burps. Till next time, peace.